Hi everyone. So I'm starting a little bit early just because I want to introduce myself to those of you who are new to my author page. My name is Christy Lee Babrad and I am the author of 3 fiction books, As the Winds Change, Where You Are, and The Christmas Break. I am also the author of a companion journal that came out recently in addition to Where You Are. And I will tell you more about that in a little bit. I'm just gonna wait for some people to arrive. Happy first day of summer. Couldn't ask for a better day. It's beautiful out today. Okay, I'm gonna get started. I apologize if I'm a little bit early. Because this is live from my backyard, I don't have my phone out here with me, so I'm not quite sure what time it is exactly, and it doesn't notify me on the iPad that I'm using. But you can always, if you miss anything, you can always watch this later, and I will be on as long as people ask questions and want to comment. I encourage everybody that comes, if you would like to comment, I would love to answer your questions. That's what makes this live talk so special. So, all of my stories, As the Winds Change, The Christmas Break, Where You Are, they all have one distinct commonality. They all deal with the heart and characters learning to listen to their heart, as they, just like all of us, sometimes lose their way. These are stories of love, family, belief in heaven, and, as I mentioned, finding one's way in life. I believe what we do, love, and our individual purpose matters. I believe that the relationships we cultivate here matter, and I believe they extend to heaven. Welcome. I'm going to probably keep repeating myself, but I did start early, a little bit early, because I wanted to introduce myself to those of you who are new to my author page. So I'm going to begin by reading the back covers of each book. So I'm going to begin with The Christmas Break, which is right here. And this is the back cover blurb for The Christmas Break. Charlie Winters, a local clothing designer, is famous for spearheading Angelwood's festival for the past 6 years. But this year's season is presenting challenges that all her meticulous planning could have never prepared for. Her best friend and soon-to-be former roommate is getting married, reminding Charlie this is the 5th year in a row of her utterly single status, a sting that is felt more than she would like to admit. Then there's Liam McConnell, the only man Charlie has ever loved, in town this Christmas with his long-standing girlfriend, aka Charlie's high school nemesis. As the Christmas songs gleefully and achingly play throughout Angelwood, will Charlie be able to rise above her emotions, or will this be the first year in 50 the festival doesn't take place? This book, I think, if you like Hallmark movies, I think you'll enjoy that. I personally love Hallmark movies, and it's also perfect to celebrate Christmas in July. So, if you want to take a look at this book, I would love for you to do so. With all of my books, please, if you enjoy them, please review it on Amazon, Goodreads, or Barnes & Noble. I really appreciate it. I love to hear what all of you think. I'm really stuttering with my words today, but I would really love to hear what you all think, and it helps me out a lot because every review is good, and it encourages more people to view my books. And I wouldn't be writing without all of you. It's which I'm going to talk about later, but it's the second part of any art is the audience and the readers and the people who enjoy it. Otherwise, it just wouldn't have the significance that it should have. So that's the one book, which was actually my second book. My first book was As the Winds Change. Hi, Chelsea. Hi, Mom. So this is As the Winds Change. I apologize if it's kind of backwards, the writing. And I will read the back cover of this book. It's an emotionally rich story of love and forgiveness. If you were given one more chance to talk with someone who passed away, what would you do? What would you say? When April Miller's estranged childhood best friend, Johnny, is killed in a car accident, April is confronted with his spirit as she's heading to work one day, making the phrase, "It's never too late," all the more poignant. So that's As the Winds Change. That was my first book that I wrote. And then recently I came out with the sequel, which is called Where You Are. And it continues with the characters that were introduced in As the Winds Change, and I'll read the back cover. The love we create and embrace on earth will always be the tie that binds from here to heaven forevermore. Lives are shaped once again by the winds of change in the sequel to As the Winds Change. April and her family, Luke and Johnny, return to surprise and stir your heart even more than before. When a life-startling event puts April's story on the proverbial edge, she is led on a journey into the supernatural where she has to decide between her fears and the biggest leap of her life, the love behind or ahead. So, now I'm going to begin by reading an excerpt from Where You Are, and as I said, that is the sequel to As the Winds Change. So it's these two books together. Go into the page. Okay. Chapter 6. What now? Not till we are lost, in other words, not till we have lost the world, do we begin to find ourselves and realize where we are and the infinite extent of our relations. Henry David Thoreau. Johnny and I stand side by side before my still body. It's surreal and body-churning in the most uncomfortable way to be in two places at once. I told Johnny that I wanted to see my family on Earth, make sure they're okay. They're all here at my bedside, Mom, Luke, Kevin, and Allison. My ears tear up seeing them. I'm not surprised that they've all come here, just as I would if, God forbid, any of them were in the same situation. But that is why I am both touched and upset that I'm the cause of their lives being turned upside down. We're family people. It has been ingrained in us, and I couldn't be more thankful for this. It doesn't matter what we have to give up, we would give up anything material for any member of our family. I see Luke hovering over my still body, barely breathing, and I realize that love for family is one of the many attributes that sparked my first attraction to him. He was skating with his family when we first met, his brother and two sisters, along with their friends. Luke caresses the fingers on my right hand in the bed, and I long to take my hand and put it in his. Make him feel that I am still with him, though it's not enough with me being in this state. It wouldn't be enough for him, and it's definitely not enough for me. Mom is standing right next to Luke, her eyebrows furrowed and her blue eyes watering. I wish I could fall into her arms and feel her warm hug around me. Kevin is next to Mom, and he is standing bent, his shoulders drooped. My brother, who always has a handle on everything. Then there's Allison. I feel we're both realizing in this moment even more how significant we are to each other's lives. She has her hand on the end of the bed, trying to stand still, but I can see her pacing in place, switching from one foot to the other on the linoleum floor as the doctor comes in. We all look his way, and I hear in all of our long, deep inhales, we are preparing ourselves for the worst. Head trauma injury. He slices into their anxious thoughts with absolute knowingness. That's what the doctor says is the reason why I, a young woman who has always been healthy, only 32 years old, am not waking up right now. Allison puts a comforting arm around Mom in an effort to ease the sting of these words. It's okay, Mom whispers in a deep breath. I have a good feeling about this doctor. With all due respect, are you sure there's not something else going on with her? Allison steps in front of Mom toward the doctor. I look at Johnny and I can feel a heartwarming smile spreading the corners of my mouth. I've never seen the side of Allison with such keen recognition. She's a mama bear. I don't like seeing her worried, but it is endearing how protective she is of her family and for me to be included in that, especially considering my mom is standing right here and would normally be the one asking the questions. I heard Allison tell the tale of the doctor who was attending to me on the flight in deep worry to Mom just before the doctor came in. Allison thought the doctor on the plane was way too young to be attending to such an emergency. I didn't want to be rude, but he did, Allison remarked. You just can't put your complete trust in any medical professional anymore without asking as many questions as you can think of to at least ensure they know you're doing your research as well. Mom nodded. She had many experiences with doctors of her own caring for both of my grandparents when they became ill. I experienced it myself when Mom had to go into the hospital, although we lucked out with the doctor and nurses in that case. They all moved in a swift, efficient, and above all, caring manner. I know, though, this is not always the case. The doctor here now looks like he has already had a career of experience. He appears to be in his late 40s, in shape, clean-cut, but aged just enough to show that he's taking his job seriously. Yes, ma'am, the doctor responds to Allison. She also has what's called subdural hematoma. This is basically a clot under the skin outside the brain. The blood can oftentimes drain on its own within a couple of weeks, so we just need to wait and see. We've done extensive blood work. These accidents are unpredictable. It appears that when all the baggage fell on her, it fell with such impact because of the turbulence. The doctor runs his hand over the large bruise on my forehead. The weight of all those bags hitting her caused the seizure and led her to fall into a coma. She's stable for now, and we will be able to determine more when test results come back. Injuries like these happen every day. She can recover from this. Her age helps. She's young and strong. He looks right into Allison's eyes and softens his tone. She has a great support system here. Talk to her. Many patients recall hearing their loved ones speak to them while they are in the state. And most of all, hold on to your faith. We're going to do everything we can to get April moving again. He smiles with conviction as he addresses Mom, Kevin, and Luke as well. I see Luke with his head down, hands on his hips, and legs spread apart. Tears are in his eyes, and where I was taking everything in more as a spectator, now I feel my heart pounding. The doctor moves to the screen toward the right of where my body is lying. He looks up from his clipboard at the neon green lines on the black screen rising ever so slightly. You see this? He speaks to my family. The way the lines rise. This is a good sign. She's in there. The doctor gives a nod and exits the room. Luke takes a side glance, but this doesn't seem to do much for his heart. I walk over to him and try to wipe his tears away, but I just feel air. In desperate need, I wrap my arms around him, though I can't feel his body. I only feel empty space. Johnny! I wrap my arms around myself in abject misery, dropping my head. I look at Johnny, my eyes wide, pleading for him to fix this, even though I know he can't. So that was an excerpt from Where You Are, which is the sequel to As the Winds Change. Hi, Shanisa. And, a lot of people ask me how I came up with my titles. It's interesting because the title is usually very instinctive. It's a decision based on the major theme in the story. Where You Are, I wanted to follow a similar feel to As the Winds Change, the first book in the 2-book series. I wanted it to be from a spiritual, existential, life perspective place. Where you are is the idea that where you are isn't far from where I am. Heaven and earth, we stay connected. As the Winds Change, that was created out of the idea that life has seasons, and while one season may be difficult, better times are on the way, which really applies to this time in particular, and what we're all going through. Fall has always been my favorite season, and As the Winds Change I came up with because it's that feeling when that first crisp breeze blows. I just feel that positive change is on the way. It fills your spirit and it opens up your heart. It's from that optimism and passion that I like to write from and live from. It's what keeps me going, quite honestly, and it keeps me excited, and it's so deeply ingrained in my spirit. So that's how I came up with As the Winds Change. The Christmas Break, that's a love story that has heartbreak in the center. As I mentioned before, I love Christmas, but this season does have a way of bringing up all emotions. And I just find light and sadness coexisting together such an interesting place to write from. And quite honestly, true to life. So if you didn't feel hurt, you wouldn't feel that deep, intense, knock you off your feet love either. So the Christmas break is the break of the heart. So you can fill your heart back up all over again with new perspectives and even greater truth and love. I had so much to tell you. Also, I wrote it down, so I apologize for reading from my notebook, but didn't want to forget to tell you anything. Research. That was a topic that I saw recently in an article. Do you research when you're writing fiction? And I do research, but my personality, I have to do it in small bits. It depends on, my approach depends on what I'm interested in. So with As the Winds Change, I always loved ice skating. I'm not really an ice skater, but I always had an interest in it. But I had to research it, the different moves and everything. So I researched ice skating, I watched videos, and that's how I approached that. The medical, which you heard in Where You Are, that was thanks to the help of my friend Iman Payne from high school, who's a medical professional, and she helped me out with the subdural hematoma. I still can't pronounce it correctly, but she helped me with that, and I can't thank her enough. It really added a lot to the story. So, and psychology. I've always had an interest in psychology, but that, it's a lot of what I write is personal feelings. So I researched like a little bit of the psychology, but a lot of it in terms of that's what I personally like perceive and things like that. And the childcare and As the Winds Change is from personal experience. So it's a mixture of personal experience, what I hear, family members that offer insight into different situations. So it's a collection of experiences that inspire my work. But as far as research, I do research, but what I'll do is I'll look up something and then I'll let it be, and I'll work on all the stuff that doesn't involve research, and then I can plug it in as I learn more. And that's my approach, because if I dwell on heavy extensive researching and outlining and all of that, it will totally keep me from being inspired, honestly. So I have to be very careful in how I do it while getting the information. So with As the Winds Change and Where You Are, I started each chapter with a quote that connects. I love doing this because it's part of my belief system that none of us are self-made. We are made up of all the love, people, and art that has entered our lives. We are a community whose individual persons and perspectives sprinkle life into us, and we interpret based on our own unique souls. So by starting with a quote, it just gives us a depth to the story, and a major feeling that we are not alone. And hi Patrick, hi Linda. I want to thank you, Robbie, for coming. The medical and architectural detail and Where You Are was excellent. Thank you so much. Perspectives in my stories. Especially with As the Winds Change and Where You Are, the character April, that's written from my own personal insights, as I mentioned before. Emotions and growth. And April is, to a degree, a fictionalized version of myself, if that makes any sense. There's a lot of elements of me in April, but it is fictionalized. And I feel the major ideas that I would hope readers receive from my books is that you are not alone and that your feelings have a valid place. Everyone has a different timeline in life. April's timeline in life is different than most women in their 30s. Hi, Linda. So just never give up on your faith. It's never too late to start something new. It's never too late to love someone. And finally, our lives have great meaning. What we do matters, and this isn't it here on Earth, in my opinion. We remain connected with the loved ones who have passed on, and I believe that we will be together again. Now, as you probably know, I came out with a companion journal to all 3 of my books: The Christmas Break, Where You Are, As the Winds Change, and this is the companion journal. And the book is divided into 3 chapters: Love and Forgiveness, Family and Celebration, Passion and Purpose. And what I did is I have quotes from all of my books and then a writing prompt that connects with the quote. And my wish is for this to become your own personal journal, where you see how unique and beautiful your story is, and you gain insight into your life and relationships, and maybe it will inspire you. I hope it will inspire you to maybe pursue things that you might have left behind when life gets busy, any passions that you have. I'm hoping that by writing your own story in here, it will inspire you. And I think it's also great for writers, artists of any kind. I think it might spark your creativity and give you ideas for anything that you're creating. Hi, Patrick. Here is the introduction I wrote, and I'm also going to read a few of the quotes and prompts from it that I have marked in the book. So I wrote, "Welcome to your journal. Hi, I'm Christy Lee," which, by the way, Christy Lee is my first name. Just a fun fact. I don't have a middle name, so yeah, that's my full first name. So, I've been writing for a while now. I currently have 3 books out in the world. Every single one of these stories have started from a place deep in my own heart, and it's this simple realization that gave me the inspiration to create this journal. You see, I write about subjects that stir my soul and that have my heart demanding I try my best to find a unique way of telling these truths, whether they're sprinkled in glitter or heartbreak and frustration. When I first began writing, I was drawing deep within from a place that shouted, "Others feel this too. I matter. I can create and bring wonder and hope to others, maybe make them feel just a little less alone in this great big world." And that's the place I still create from with every story and line of poetry I write. I believe all our stories matter, and I believe that a key way to find that story is to ask yourself specific questions. My hope is that this journal will be filled with your story, a story from which you create your own art, whether that be writing, painting, a family of your own, sports, music, or performance art. Each section is introduced with quotes from my books, but that's where my input ends and yours begins. You'll get to know my stories a little bit in this journal, but these pages aren't about me, they're about you. The world needs your story, so I ask you to write your name above the word journal on the next page. Write it big and bold in whatever colors you choose. This book is a creative space. Please begin. With love, Christy Lee. And I'm going to read a couple prompts from there. There's nothing like a 2-year-old to get you out of a strung-out mood. It's all fun, imagination, and love. And that's from Where You Are. I apologize for the car noises. And the prompt is, I believe there's beauty in every age. Sometimes our heart remains at one particular age. Write about an age that you find interesting and explain why. I am a big believer that clothes do in fact reveal pieces of a personality. The Christmas Break. What style items, jewelry, or clothing make you feel particularly at home within yourself? And then the last one that I marked. My soulmate. I could have never planned Someone far greater undoubtedly played his hand as the winds change. What are some incidences where something wonderful occurred in your life without you pursuing? So that's just a taste of some of the prompts that I have. And then at the back of the journal, there's space for you to just write your thoughts. Use the next pages however you feel led, whether to write daily, jot notes about how you feel now, plans for the future, anything that touches your heart and life, or anything you desire. So I hope you all will check this out. And once again, if you like it and you enjoy writing in it and you enjoy reading As the Winds Change, Where You Are, The Christmas Break, any of them, please write a review. I appreciate all of you so much. All of you who have read my books and reviewed and commented. I'm so incredibly thankful. Thank you so much. And what else? So, the companion journal. Thank you, Robbie. And thank you, Shanessa. Thank you, Linda. Now, while I would love for all of you to read my books, this companion journal, you don't have to read the other books to enjoy the companion journal. So I just wanted to let you all know that. I think it's great for writers, artists, and because it gives you things to think about. It would be good for me to even answer my own questions in here, because there are things I think about. So I hope that you all enjoy that journal. Please feel free to ask any questions as I'm talking. I'm looking at the comments, so I apologize if I've missed any thus far. But I love all comments. In the Christmas break, I wanted to tell you about that. In the Christmas break, Charlie says what makes the festival so special every year is all the people who come and enjoy it and contribute to it. She compares it to concerts or shows. The performers on the stage are only one part of the experience, and that's how I feel about my writing and my art. I create initially from a personal place, but when the readers enjoy it and comment and come to these events that I have, that's when it really becomes something. We all want to connect, because that gives love, it gives power and passion. So again, I can't thank you all enough. This is totally a collaboration, writing a book. It's the orchestra that art what it is at its grandest. And I love hearing from you, all of you. I ended up canceling all of my in-person events this year, but I'm going to continue to do all the live talks and interviews. I think they would have been canceled anyway, but I personally canceled them because I can't imagine speaking to all of you and interacting with all of you with a mask on my face. So I want to return to the in-person events when things return to the old normal, not the new normal. So, yeah. And I would love any comments, and I will stay for any. But yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about with all of you. And yeah, can't thank you all enough for coming. And if there's no questions, I guess I will go. But again, thank you so much for coming and for buying my books. You can get them on Amazon or BarnesandNoble.com. Please review. I know I've said it like a million times, but it really does help. And yeah, have a beautiful day. Happy first day of summer. And I will see you all again soon. Thank you.